Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, Michael Pintard re-elected as leader of the Free National Movement. We have the latest from the party's national convention at the Bahamas Resort. Plus, today marks the start of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. Are residents prepared? We have their feedback coming up. And later, an early morning shooting on East Bay Street leaves 3 men in hospital tonight. These stories and so much more to come as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Atalia Hall. The official results are in. Michael Pintard has been re-elected as leader of the Free National Movement with some 463 votes. The position highly contested by former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis. Dr. Hubert Minnis received 163 votes. As for the position of chairman, Dr. Dwayne Sands was also re-elected with some 431 votes. Ellsworth Johnson received 221 votes. And as the new leadership team for the Free National Movement is about to be unveiled at the party's one-day convention, our Bertie McDermott, who's at the convention hall, tells us around 700 delegates from across the country participated in Saturday's crucial vote.
F&M supporters filled the Bahamas Convention Center with excitement and anticipation as they cast their votes for party officers. Incumbent party leader Michael Pintard arrived at the convention center accompanied by former party leader and Prime Minister Hubert Ingram, Tommy Turnquest, and former deputy leader Peter Turnquest.
I was pleased to hear a number of our veterans in the party talk about the spirit that they felt similar to 1992. And it is our hope as we pull together as an F&M family beyond this vote that we are able once again to usher in a new dispensation in Bahamian politics. And so
Pintard enjoys strong support from key figures within the F&M, including former Prime Minister Ingram, who declared Minnis is one and done.
My actions spoke very loudly and very clearly, and there could be no doubt in his mind that I thought his time had passed.
Future, Michael Pintard is clearly the best option for the future. He's well prepared, he's dynamic, he's energetic.
Well, I think that's what we need. We need people who are committed to a vision, who is looking forward into the future of where this country can and should be, and is going to put the effort and the policies behind it.
F&M members have eagerly awaited this one-day convention to determine the highly contested race for party leader. The party remains divided, with a faction still backing former Prime Minister Dr. Minnis, who was ousted as party leader in 2021 following the F&M's election defeat. However, Dr. Minnis alleges unfair practices, claiming his supporters have faced intimidation tactics.
Because individuals have sent copies of that delegates list to me as they sent to the party. But yet, when I look at the list that come from the party, names have been changed. Andres, on the other hand, stood for him. All 10 of their names were changed.
And as F&M members lined the halls of the convention center to cast their votes, we spoke with several who openly shared their views on who should lead.
That's the man with the plan. We love him and he loves us.
Yes.
He treats us with courtesy, and that's what counts.
Yes.
They asked for it, they got it, and now it's over. It's Pintard.
I support Dr. Minnis. You know why I support Dr. Minnis? Because contrary to what persons or people may think about him, I think Dr. Minnis has done a lot for this country.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bertie McDermott.
Well, party incumbent leader Michael Pintard was asked about Dr. Minnis' claims that his supporters were being disadvantaged in today's voting process. Pintard said the goal is for the organization to pull together. Speaking directly to the incident, Pintard said this.
I tried to reach Dr. Minnis last night and again this morning. I sent him a text message just saying to him that regardless of the outcome of this election, I believe that the person who's not successful should be given an opportunity to speak on the convention stage. The very systems I inherited from my predecessor are the same systems that are in place. And so we understand that sometimes when the tide looks as if it's not in your favor, there may be hurt feelings. But we believe we'll get past that and we'll be able to close ranks as an organization.
Well, we also caught up with the head of the election committee just before 1 p.m. today. Some 761 delegates were eligible to vote. F&M Senator Michael Barnett Ellis told us at that time that everything was going smoothly and there were few challenges with people coming to cast their vote.
It's gone very smoothly. The majority of our voters have voted already. People are coming into the room. They're being divided by last name, going to the appropriate table, getting their instructions, getting their ballot, and sitting down. We have enough space in there for about 50 people to sit down and vote at the same time, and then they get up and drop their ballots in the box.
All right, well, be sure to stay tuned to our TV following this newscast for the broadcast of the F&M's 2024 convention at the Bahamas Resort with our Jerome Sawyer. It all starts at 8 p.m. When our news comes back from the break, the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is expected to be an active one. We speak with some residents in the capital about preparedness straight ahead. Also, 3 men shot on East Bay Street this morning. We'll tell you all about it when our news weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Well, a warm start to the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, which is expected to be an active one. And that's according to the National Hurricane Center. Well, meteorologist Ian McKenzie is in the Weather Center with more details. Ian, what can we expect this season?
Thanks, Natalia. Good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to the start of the hurricane season, June 1st. I just want to admonish you guys to prepare. And Natalia, despite how many numbers that are being forecast for this year, just remember it only takes one storm. That one storm can derail your entire season and make it a bad one, so to speak. So despite the 17 to 25 named storms or whatever that is forecasted in this hyperactive forecast season, just know it only takes one storm. Currently outside our studios, we're under mostly cloudy skies with a temperature of 84 with some showers in the area. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Comfortable feels like temperature at 76. Current temperatures across the country at this time in our nation's second city, Freeport, we have 82. Also in Arlestown, Nicholstown at 84, and in the capital, 83 in Great Harbor Key, 81 in Marsh Harbor, 82 under rain, cool temperatures in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. In the Central Bahamas, 83 in Camps Bay, 82 in Arthurstown and Georgetown, as well as Deadman's Key, 83 also in Coburn Town and Salvador. For the Southeast Bahamas, continue with those 82s in Duncantown and Abraham's Bay, as well as Colonel Hill and Matthew Town, 81 in Delectable Bay, Acklands, and 83 in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Satellite and radar imagery at this time, not much activity across the northwest Bahamas. However, across the central and southeast Bahamas, there is an area of active trough, and it's being pummeled with some moisture from the south, and that will continue to create some unsettled weather conditions across that area. Boating forecasts across all areas for tonight into tomorrow. A small craft caution is in effect. Winds will be easterly at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6. Low tide at 10:40 p.m. tonight. High tide at 4:35 a.m. tomorrow morning. And in your extended forecast, we have some weak troughing across our area. This should trigger 1 or 2 showers and possible isolated thunderstorms, mainly offshore. High pressure building across the area throughout midweek, and by Saturday we should expect a frontal boundary, or I would say a frontal trough at this time of year. This should trigger 1 or 2 showers across the area. Highs hanging around mid to upper 80s into the 90s, lows into the mid 70s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone. Prepare for the long season.
Authorities urging residents to prepare as forecasters predict an above normal season. Arjane Joseph hit the streets to find out exactly how locals are getting ready.
Hurricanes can bring devastating impacts, but preparation can make all the difference. We spoke to residents in New Providence to learn how they are gearing up for the 2024 season. Elmer Lowe, a project and facilities manager, says he is heeding the wisdom of the elders as the season starts.
You know, the old folks used to say, watch the dillies and the mangoes if they're sprouting early and they bring in fruit early. Well, that's what's happening. Most of the old folks used to figure before we had all of the science that we have today, that was an indicator. Well, we're having that. So let that lie where it may. In terms of what science may say, some people believe it, some people don't. That's up to you. But I think you always need to be prepared.
David Slatter, Vice President of RF Bank and Trust, leans on his analytical background and encourages everyone to pay attention to the data.
Well, as with, say, forecasting for investing purposes, you know, you need to get the data and make forecasts. And unfortunately, based on feedback from the experts in the U.S. in particular, it's expected to be a very active season. And, you know, you need to know when to accept the analysis of other experts. And in this case, when it comes to hurricanes, I'm accepting the analysis and predictions of other experts.
Franklin Russell, taking his preparedness level a step further by securing all of his documents in advance. And in the event of a storm, his home is also protected.
We have home insurance. I do have home insurance for the coverage, because you don't know what can happen in the time of a storm. You know, you ready, prepared for this. You have money loaded for this, but you didn't expect this. It's good to have that.
For some, like Rotarian Dr. Bridget Roll, the community is at the heart of their preparedness efforts.
Prevention is better than cure. So, you know, we make sure that they have all of their homes are taken care of. Like you said, the insurances, the windows are repaired, the screens are repaired. If in the event of flooding, what do you do if that happens? You have to have a evacuation plan in place. And so these are some of the things that I would caution the public to be aware of.
Business owner Georgette Roll admits she hasn't started her hurricane shopping, but she says she believes there are other national issues that should be a priority for residents.
We have a lot of other things that we need to address in our country, you know, besides hurricane. That's only one. You know, what about gun charges? What about bail given to murderers? What about innocent people being killed? We have a lot of things. Hurricane is just one of them. We have a lot of things that we need to tend to.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Gene Joseph.
All right, thanks so much for that, Gene. Be sure to tune in to Our TV's Hurricane Special with host Jasmine Brown and meteorologist Greg Thompson on Wednesday, June 12th at 8 p.m. Well, 3 men in hospital tonight following an early morning shooting on East Bay Street. It was this video that made its rounds on social media this morning, showing a white Acura vehicle on the side of the street shot multiple times. In the video, a man who appeared to be shot was also seen sitting on the ground receiving assistance from members of the public. Police tell us the men were all transported to hospital, and additional details will be provided at a later time. Well, in addition to the active members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, retired officers also sharing their concern on the state of crime. The murder count now standing at 52, and with shootings and armed robberies seemingly happening every day, officers have their plates full. Retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Solomon Cash, during his time, was responsible for crime and intelligence. He says now is the time for officers, both active and retired, to come together and take a stand.
It shows a message from the criminals that they are relentless in doing whatever they want to do. So despite all the measures you're taking, like proactively installing cameras, they still are daring. They still would challenge law enforcement, and they would challenge our own Bahamian people with carrying out their criminal acts. But again, in solidarity, we want to say to our country, though we are retired, we stand with our commissioner, Mr. Fernando, and we'll always be here to support our Bahamian society.
The retired cop says although crime is increasing at an alarming rate, there's still hope.
We believe we have an opportunity where we can coach our young people into behaving better, because we have a Bahamian culture where we actually mentor our young Bahamian people to become productive citizens. We all grew up in areas where we were not always had the best things in life. But we have persons in those communities who work with us and who ensure that we were mentored at a level where we could become productive citizens in our society.
Well, the Bahamas Humane Society sounding the alarm about a spike in animal cruelty and negligence in recent weeks, calling for more enforcement and attention from government. Marlena Leonard reports.
It's like every minute somebody is calling, there's a dog hit by a car, or my neighbors is neglecting their dog, they don't put water down. If I don't put water, they're not going to get water. So it's a really serious thing.
And I call publicly to everybody in government to start doing something about it.
The Bahamas Humane Society says recently they've been inundated with reports of animal cruelty, neglect, and abandonment. President Kim Arana says in some cases, cruelty is the only life the animals have known.
Recently we rescued a 4-year-old dog who'd never come off the chain. I find it fascinating because if you want a guard dog, why would you chain it? The robber could just figure out how long the chain is and walk 1 foot away from it.
And it's something General Manager Percy Grant says we need to pay attention to.
A very serious trend. And, and if you do something like that to an animal, you can certainly do it to a human being. And there is, as you know, there is a correlation with animal cruelty and human cruelty. And the way we are in this country with the crime, it is very concerning.
Grant tells us he feels animal cruelty discussions are taboo for officials, but there are laws that only need to be enforced.
The punishment for it should actually be enforced. We have no enforcement. And as we were saying, we have the laws in the books right now. The Animal Control Act is here, and it's even been amended with 2023.
Inspector and Supervisor Valentino Armali has this simple advice for dog owners.
If you want a dog, don't tie the dog. That same money you spend on a dog, invest in a fence. Fence in your yard, wall up your yard, or even train your dog. Put your dog on a schedule whereby you could walk your dog outside 6 o'clock in the morning, or if you go jogging, carry your dog with you. Always have water for the dog.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
All right, thanks for that, Marlena. Still to come on Our News Weekend, empowering the nation's future. 16 young men getting the opportunity to train in England thanks to a mega ship repair facility in Grand Bahama.
Jonquel Jones and the New York Liberty get another win at home, and we check out some baseball action. Our Sports Weekend is up next.
This is Our News. Welcome back. Jonquel Jones and the New York Liberty return to the win column, and we update you on Bahamians in baseball. Tej Adderley is here for the weekend edition of Our Sports.
Thanks, Italia. It's great to have you with us. Good evening. Welcome to the Our Sports Weekend edition. I'm Tej Adderley. Jonquel Jones and the New York Liberty returned to the hardwood last night against the Washington Mystics. We're going to see what they did. JJ helped the Liberty get a 90-79 win over the Washington Mystics last night in Brooklyn. She had a double-double, scoring 16 points, grabbing 10 rebounds, and dishing 8 assists in the win. The sharpshooter Sabrina Ionescu led the squad with 24 points. Ariel Atkins led the Mystics with 15. New York's next game is Sunday against rookie sensation Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever, who they already beat twice last month. All right, now we're going to move over to the Diamond. A couple of Bahamians got some big wins last night. Let's take a look. Jazz Chisholm's Marlins beat up on the Texas Rangers 8-2 last night in South Florida. Jazz went 0-4, but he reached base on an error and scored a run to contribute to the win. Coach Anton Richardson's New York Mets edged out a 10-9 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks. JD Martinez came through for the Metropolitans, hitting a home run to secure the lead. Luis Severino got the win on the mound. Both teams are playing in their series right now. Before we go, the Bahamas national rugby team played today in Bermuda. We'll have more on that tomorrow. That's a wrap for sports this evening. For Our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley.
When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, looking for something exciting to do in Grand Bahama tonight, while you may find that experience at the Regency Theater, as a group of high schoolers are set to perform Love Wars, a Motown saga. The story when Our News returns. Welcome back to our news. 16 young men in Grand Bahama receiving an experience of a lifetime. This as they prepare to participate in a 3-month hands-on training in Liverpool, England. The effort is all a part of the Grand Bahama Shipyard's apprenticeship program in collaboration with the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute and the Engineering College in Birkenhead. The international training will expose the group to marine mechanical works and pipe fitting. The apprenticeship program that has been a part of the Grand Bahama Shipyard for years seeks to develop the skills and talents of young people. CEO of the Grand Bahama Shipyard, Dave Scantleberry, said the collaboration will allow the mega ship repair facility to train apprentices with internationally recognized qualifications. Now the group was chosen from 500 applicants who are now down to 16 after an aptitude test and interviews. While Grand Bahama's orange economy is continuing to thrive, this as Love Wars, a Motown saga, is set for this weekend at the Regency Theater. The show is expected to attract a number of residents. It all starts tonight at 8 and tomorrow, Sunday, June 2nd at 4 p.m. Writer and director Shaquita Stubbs says she wanted to highlight the talents of the performing arts students at the St. George's High School, 12th grade students in particular.
The end of every year, we do an extravaganza. It normally would feature national arts pieces, but this year I decided to put a twist on it and actually do a show to feature this talented class. So it's not really a fundraiser. It's just literally, like I said, to put these kids on the stage. They deserve to be seen.
Over 25 students will be participating in the mega show. These actors share more information about their characters.
I'm singing all the background for majority of the songs, but also When I First Saw You by Beyonce and Jamie Foxx. We're also singing
Before I Let Go
by Frankie Beverly. So yeah, it's just just to name a few, but we're singing a good number of songs.
My name is Fantasia, and I'm supposedly his Charles lover in the play. But there's a little confusion with him having another girl at first, but I'm the one that he truly loves. So he has to work in between those two people.
And that does it for us tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We now go to our Jerome Sawyer, host of our broadcast at the Free National Movement's one-day national convention at the Bahama Resort.
Well, thank you, Italia. We're coming to you from the Bahama Resort on Cable Beach for the start of the highly anticipated Free National Movement Convention. Our continuing coverage starts now.